Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones Season 8 video, and this time HBO has finally released its first little bit of footage from Game of Thrones Season 8. So this clip is only about 5 or 6 seconds, but the damn internet is blowing up. So I wanted to give you my first thoughts about it, combined with the previous footage from the little tease where we saw Sansa and Jon embrace in the first little tease they released a couple months ago. We can kind of surmise and put together what's actually going on in this scene, and it will very much mirror or parallel Game of Thrones Season 1, Winter is Coming. Alright, so we open up with a little shot here of Winterfell. Now I want to say really quickly, this is not a new scene here. So this is a little encampment outside of Winterfell where all the other Northern Lords and their houses and retainers and soldiers and all that good stuff are there at Winterfell while Jon and them are talking to the Northern Lords. So the first part of this is not new footage, but simply a flipped image of last season. But to get into the actual new footage, we see Dany and Jorah Mormont approaching Jon and Sansa. So this pretty much confirms what we thought a few months ago. When Jon came in and hugged Sansa, he's obviously going to walk up to her first and hug her as he returns on his trip. That explains why he's already standing beside Sansa as Dany and Jorah approach. Now looking at the scene here as I paused it, there's not a whole lot you can pick up on. There's a couple Northern soldiers with the classic Stark helmets on behind Dany and Jorah. You can see in the right hand corner an Unsullied there, so this is kind of a little angle away from the main gate where you see the Stark banner hanging behind Jon's head. That is an Unsullied soldier there, and I will say this will definitely parallel Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming. I just said in the live stream when people were asking about it, I think Bran's going to see them coming, just like he did in Season 1, except in Season 1, of course, he was climbing and on top of Winterfell. This time he will see Dany's procession coming through a raven, I believe. So this is going to heavily parallel and mirror Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming, when Robert's procession was heading to Winterfell for the first time. Now also, just to mention what I talked about in the live stream as well, Sansa does say,
"Winterfell is yours, your grace."
And this also parallels Season 1 as well, when Ned told Robert the same thing.
9 years. Why haven't I seen you? Where the hell have you been?
Guarding the north for you, your grace. Winterfell is yours.
Now this will be a very customary thing since Jon is technically Warden of the North here. Now I know a lot of people still call him King in the North, but I've been saying a lot on live streams when I get this question often, that Jon is actually now Warden of the North. Although Sansa is Lady of Winterfell in his absence, he is technically the Warden of the North since he has now bent the knee to Dany and recognized her as the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Now of course all this may or may not change when he finds out who he really is, but this is why Sansa offers up Winterfell. Now the biggest question here of course is, does Sansa really mean what she's saying? Is she actually being nice to Dany, or is it just more of a formality? And I would say a little bit of both. I think Sansa here probably still has her doubts because you got to remember she's still kind of playing proxy between the Northern Lords who seem to hate Targaryens based off their past, and Jon, who she does trust and love, and she does understand what he's trying to do and realizes that they do need Daenerys Targaryen's help if she has dragons to defeat the army of the dead. And of course Queen Cersei in the south. Sansa's kind of playing both sides here as she should. She's got to kind of look out for Jon, especially with Arya on her side, but she's also going to be very doubtful of Dany as well until she finds out what Dany's done for Jon in the north already, and that she was willing to risk her own life, go north of the wall to save Jon and company, and also lose her own damn dragon. So it'll take a little bit of time to warm up to her. I do think this will happen eventually, but there's going to be a lot of drama here in Winterfell, and this should be in Episode 1 of Season 8. Now I did get a question also in the live stream about Arya and Bran. I do think they're probably in this scene right here, but just kind of out of frame, as it focused on Sansa being the Lady of Winterfell, officially welcoming Jon back and the new Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, because now they have to recognize her too, unless of course they go into rebellion. I don't think that'll happen with the Army of the Dead coming, but as of right now, if their King in the North has now bent the knee and declared himself Warden of the North under Dany, they all have to recognize her as well if they continue to follow their king. But I do think Arya and Bran are in this shot. Bran's likely just in his wheelchair right out of frame, and Arya as well, because again this will mirror and parallel Season 1 where Arya and all the Starks were there waiting for King Robert. It will be pretty much the same for Dany here, so I think they're there. And I think Arya will actually like Dany. We do know from Season 2 when she was with Tywin at Harrenhal as his cupbearer that she did really appreciate the tales of Visenya and Rhaenys Targaryen and the dragons they rode, and she specifically mentions the Targaryen Valyrian steel sword, Dark Sister. So I think Arya will actually take to Dany a lot faster than Sansa. And I also want to mention really quickly, It's really cool that Jorah Mormont is the one walking beside Dany. Remember, Jorah Mormont is from House Mormont, the same as little firecracker Lyanna, and he was banished by Ned Stark for selling slaves, and remember, that's why he was in Essos to meet Dany in the first place. So there's going to be a lot of interesting drama here and a lot of really cool reunions. As I just mentioned, we're going to see Jorah and Lyanna Mormont perhaps talk. We're going to see the reunion between the Hound, Arya, and Sansa. We're going to see the reunion between Jon and Arya, which is one we all look forward to. And of course, we're going to see Dany meet everyone for the first time in the North, and she's now got to prove them wrong with Jon's help, and of course Bran as well, since he can see everything, to prove that Targaryen is just a last name, and it's all about the character of the person. And of course later on, they'll all find out that Jon was a Targaryen the whole entire time, so eventually they will realize it doesn't matter what the hell your last name is, it matters what you do. Anyway guys, that's all I have. I don't want to overanalyze this, there's not a lot there, but it is a little something, only about 3.5 months to go. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and as usual, thank you for all the support, especially you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers. And thank you to everyone on YouTube as well. And as usual, if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share. And be sure to subscribe to get everything and click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.